Yes, Master.
Right.
Yes, Jedi Knights. Happy Revenge of the Sith. For you thought we just had 2 Star Wars film reviews honoring May the 4th be with you and just Revenge of the 5th. Oh no. Let's not forget the last day within this sequence celebrated by fans of the whole franchise that some fans argue is the more solid day to talk about. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. The final film within the Star Wars prequels, written and directed by George Lucas himself, once again. Fans say it's more fitting to celebrate Revenge of the Sith since it does sound more familiar to Revenge of the Sith, which, in honesty, I'll get behind that for sure. This conclusion was the film that Star Wars fans had been ultimately waiting for, being the utter transformation of Anakin from a Master Jedi in training to a vengeful, darkened Sith Lord, and bringing upon the fall of the Jedi. Very reminiscent of our times in politics currently, wouldn't you say? I remember when this first came out in 2005, folks. This 15-year-old was ecstatic, could not wait to see this film, this story, come to a close. Having grown up with the original Star Wars films, like I've said before, and then coming to this point within this saga, this trilogy, the final impetus, the final arc of Anakin going to the dark side. I had the pleasure of seeing this film remastered at the local AMC, for it is also celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, with a lovely introduction by Anakin himself, Hayden Christensen.
So now let's get to the movie, because this is where the fun begins. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Did it bring some tears to mine eyes, having rewatched this film after literally 20 years since I last saw it when it came out in theaters? All the way through? Not really. It brought some nostalgia for sure, but as stated before, my friends, the prequels were never really my bag. It's crazy to say this because this was technically my generation of Star Wars, being a millennial, whereas episodes 4 through 6, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, were our parents' generation. So you'd think I would have a deeper connection to them. But once we see the utter green screen madness that is on the screen in front of us, I can't get behind it. I'm sorry. Yes, again, problem 1 of this film. Okay, let's get started. Problem 1 of this film is its overusage of green screen, where you can absolutely tell the actors are just doing whatever they can to stay connected to the material and to each other in the scenes when a lot of their sets is just a big soundstage. This wouldn't bother me since majority of films are shot on a soundstage, but the big difference is that most of those movies had damn set pieces, for crying out loud. This is just bare. Second problem of this third installment. George Lucas's script. Once again, I'm not going to do a play-by-play of the plot because we'd be here all damn day. And that being said, okay, the script. The script is nowhere as atrocious as Attack of the Clones. This is obviously the best written screenplay of the prequels. However, that certainly does not excuse some heavy sequences that are written ever so lazily, with the amount of creative flair that could fill a 2/3 measuring teaspoon. Let's all agree, our beloved George Lucas is utterly great at creating plot points and is good at creating characters. That's pretty much it. To actually put the story down to dialogue and plot progression, he surely needed some help in that department. But back to the positive side of things. The build-up to Anakin Skywalker, our hero, really succumbing to the dark side, is done quite well, and with engaging entertainment value. The fight choreography, with what we are given, is indeed very entertaining. I can't deny it. With the final duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan being extremely gripping, if you can put aside the fact that these Jedis apparently jump out like they're frickin' frogs. I know, it's a movie, but I mean, anyway, surrounding itself with CGI, customary of industrial light and magic, like no other, we think the performances from a talented ensemble can elevate this material. And for the most part, you'd think correctly. Until we get Ewan McGregor, in all honesty, giving the most disappointing performance in the whole film, phoning it in so he can get back to work on Shakespeare. It's disappointing because you know how great of an actor Ewan is, and to see him only give something in that final scene between he and Hayden.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness!
I mean, it sucks that you can't get that elevation from him for the rest of it. I get it, he had an annoying time trying to purposely copy off Sir Alec Guinness, with literally the kinescopes of Alex's performance as older Obi-Wan to guide him, provided by Lucas. But I mean, come on, buddy. Yes, we say less is more, but nothing is still nothing, people. Natalie Portman. Oh, here she is as Padme. She gives the best that she can as well. Good old Jimmy Smits, love that guy. Sam L. Jackson giving all that he can, which you gotta love the dude, no matter what. And spoiler, yes, when Sam Jackson goes out in that little blaze of glory. I remember as a kid feeling like, shit, because Mace Windu was so damn cool. Sam Jackson made sure with Lucas his death scene was going to be a memorable one, and it sure as hell was. Now, Hayden Christensen, folks. We all know his performance here sucks utter ass. There is no sugarcoating. He gets the ultimate opportunity to portray the full arc of a hero descending into darkness, a character that is one of the most beloved and iconic, and his bland-ass deliveries are something that any Shakespearean actor around the world would love to get their hands on and take the role off his hands and give those ill-written words some depth, for God's sakes. We just get more of the baby whining depth from Attack of the Clones, albeit being a bit older and more rugged. Hayden Christensen for sure deserved his Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actor. However, does that mean that I hate Hayden Christensen, the actor? No way. I mean, truthfully, to this day, Hayden's performance in Shattered Glass is his best performance, and if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. I'll do a film review on that one day, don't you worry. And Hayden has had other great roles in other films as well, so to say Hayden absolutely sucks here certainly does not mean he is the worst out there. I surely love all the fan appreciation he has received over the years after being just torched by the critics and fans when this film was released in 2005. Fans have realized his love for the role, the nostalgic factor of him being their Anakin during the time of them being kids. It connects to them on a deeper level than we can imagine, which is another reason to love the fans. Always. There is nothing like the fandom behind Star Wars, folks. And that's why it's wonderful to see Hayden receive that embrace after so long. The best performance in the whole film is clearly Ian McDiarmid. His whole arc is clearly realized as his ultimate role of the Emperor comes into fruition. And every scene he has with Hayden manipulating Anakin carries the whole film. It is truly captivating. For the fans, again, we do love seeing some lore being put to screen, like the worlds with Kashyyyk being the Wookiees' planet, where we do see Chewbacca to the molten lava planet Mustafar, where the fated duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan takes place, which the pre-visualization of that fight was guest directed by none other than Steven Spielberg, Lucas's good friend. Why Lucas didn't want to get more writing assistance from Steven is beyond me. That whole sequence when Padme is giving birth, I mean, looking completely clean and not disheveled at all while giving birth, and instantly naming them the iconic names.
Is it her or don't?
Luke.
Oregon.
It's a go.
God, that is just way too much. Way too cheesy. Too mozzarella, even for me. But when we see simultaneously Anakin being put together in a darkened suit through all his burns, and the final piece, the helmet, being put on his head, the seal, leading to the universe, giving ultimate birth to Darth Vader, as Padme is giving birth to their twin babies. It's a well put together sequence, which I applaud the editor non-stop on this whole film, trying to work around all the scenes that just clearly acting-wise and shot-wise just does not work. And in that same scene, that climactic ending scene, hearing Mr. James Earl Jones back again in that suit with more poor writing, leading to one of the most memorable and atrocious moments in that saga. Cinematographer David Tattersall did the best he absolutely could with this one as well, with all the CGI, with his visual effects shots tallying up to almost 2,200. One, that's a world record, and two, that's excessive. The film just doesn't go as deep as you would really expect overall, because everything felt so artificial for me. It became even harder to be really affected by this conclusion in the end. That surely didn't stop it from making a buttload of money again. I mean, this is what the fans waited for, grossing almost $899 million over its $113 million budget. I mean, that was going to be no surprise, becoming the highest grossing film of that year in the US and the second highest grossing film in the Star Wars franchise. It earned only one Oscar nomination for Best Makeup, which lost to The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was well-deserved. To this day, it does remain, for a lot of fans, their personal favorite in the space opera saga. For like Empire Strikes Back, we deal with a lot of challenging conflict, and we end on such a down note with a slight hint of hope, which I do love. Also, another positive is, of course, John Williams showing up, clocking in to work. Battle of the Hero, as well as the reprise of Duel of the Fates. Oh my goodness. I believe John Williams has also said that this was one of his favorite compositions he's ever done for a Star Wars film, and even turned down doing the score for Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in order to do the score for Revenge of the Sith. Imagine that. Crazy enough, it didn't result in another Oscar nomination for Best Original Score for Williams.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power!
So overall, folks, when it comes to George Lucas's Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, I give it a B-. Yeah, it totally seems very harsh, but you know what? In retrospect, it really seems right on for the level of what George Lucas provided here. I say that to also say, having covered all three of Lucas's prequels here, I am thankful, ever so thankful, that at least Lucas had a clear-cut vision. That 20th Century Fox, who would be the last studio to make Star Wars films before being bought out by Disney, gave George Lucas that vision to write and direct his own scripts, and bringing his beginning, Phantom Menace, his middle, Attack of the Clones, and end, Revenge of the Sith, to life. That there was a through line through it all, rather than the atrocious mess of a trilogy the sequels became from Force Awakens, Last Jedi, to Rise of Skywalker, which I will get to one day. Oh, don't you worry about that. But folks, let's take that strong consideration and moment to really truly thank George Lucas for, one, creating these characters and this ever so exciting saga. But in comparison to the sequels, thank him for making films that did follow through with the vision. Because narratively, it does make sense. You see where these characters are going and what builds into the next movement. Like I said, George was good with plot points.
Senator Organa takes Leia to Alderaan, and Darth Sidious doesn't feel a disturbance in the Force? I mean, seriously, you expect me to believe that he can raise Leia on Alderaan, and the Sith Lords, they're not going to pick up anything. I mean, Kenobi is on Tatooine. He's living right up the street.
So George Lucas, as much as I have shat on your prequels here, I still value very much that you went out and created and filmed what you wanted to make. which has become a dying breed in commercial Hollywood these days. So, my Jedi friends, what are your thoughts on Revenge of the Sith? Do you love it? Is it your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, keep the dialogue going, and stay tuned for many more reviews and top 10s to come. Thank you so very much for watching and subscribing, and always, always remember, happy Revenge of the Sith, but also...
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.